Hi again, another rambling video from me. If anybody hasn't figured out, I have made a skate related page because I like to tinker, and you'll always see the name Fetish. Skate Fetish is the name of the Facebook group. It's just basically where I like to share my projects and stuff. I'm not really trying to sell things. Sometimes I do sell things, but not normally on that page. But my derby name is RL Fetish because music, RLAURAL. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about my trail setup, which is what I use outdoors. It's the Grip Boardwalk. And I've done some modifications to it. So this was just a stock boardwalk skate. I'm sorry, my wheel is in the picture. This is just a stock boardwalk that I had switched the plate on. This whole setup is made for vanity. I will say I just wanted something really cute, but also I prefer high cut boots for outdoors, even though I said I don't care if it's high cut or low cut. For some reason outdoor, I like to have a higher cut boot. The heel may or may not help. It might just be my mental thing. But like I said, the majority of the things I like to ramble on about are just basically what I personally find useful or helpful or what I prefer. So you might prefer something completely different than me. This is just me rambling on about things that I do or that I like. So this, like I said, was a stock boot. I ended up obviously changing the laces. These are derby laces. I got patches. I wanted all these patches and had no idea what to use them for. So I was like, let me put them on my new skates. So we got this guy. I took this to a cobbler to sew on, and unfortunately, he didn't know that this actually goes this way. So either way, it's cute as a heart. I'll give him that. I tried ironing these on and they gunked up the suede and came off immediately. So for 20 bucks, I paid a cobbler to professionally sew these in. You could see the stitching on the inside from where he sewed it. So take it to your local cobbler. If you feel like there's something wrong with your boot, or even if something like some people have had problems where the soles have come off and they've been able to take it to a cobbler and get it glued back on. We don't typically suggest getting soles glued back on if you're playing roller derby, but if you're just putzing around and you're willing to pay for it and you just need a temporary fix until you can buy new skates, glue. Some people have actually gotten like even these types of soles sewn on. I'm like, cool, but if you look at Grip's boots, they actually kind of sew, it's hard to see. They do sew through the plastic into the sole of the boot, so that's pretty cool. So partially why I chose the boardwalk, I've had boardwalks in the past, but I didn't like the plate that I had on it. I had an Avenger plate, and like I said, I normally just skated outdoors with these skates. These were just primarily for skating a trail, long distances straight. I didn't like the Avenger for that because it's more of a maneuverable plate. Like I think if you do any research, they're like, oh, this plate is really good for jammers and blah, blah, blah. It's really popular years ago for roller derby, but didn't quite like it for my skates. I think because they say it's a 45-degree plate, but it's actually like 30-degree. The Avenger plate kind of pushes you a little more on your heel for speed and for agility, but I'm not, I don't have any agility, and I can't want to go forward. So combination of that and that heel kept making me fall backwards because I tend to balance back on my heels. So especially if I'm just going straight, I'm not running on my toes. I'm just leisurely skating on my trail. So anyway, I would let you know the weird things that I've added. Outside of the plate, this was a pain in the butt to get off because boardwalks come with the Grip rock plates, which are fine. They rivet them in, which for some skaters that really use their skates, the rivets can get loose and you'll get some like chatter and some space in between the plate. I wanted green, so me removing those rivets was a pain in the butt. I had to like hammer between the plate and the boot. People were like, oh, you could just drill it out with a drill, and that would not drill out. So I spent some time removing the plates, re-drilling new holes to get this remounted. I found years ago that I prefer hybrid wheels, so these are poison wheels. So for outdoors, this works better for me. Could be different for anybody else depending on your weight and your how you skate. So I prefer something like this so I can get some speed on asphalt and not die on rocks. It's a cute heart. I don't know, it's cute. I will say I had a problem with this last April, so it's been about a year. My laces came untied and I tripped and I fell on my face, like, and these actually chunked. Like, when I tripped and fell, it actually took a chunk out of one of the wheels, so that made me very sad. I've only had these for about a year, and they're probably near 100 miles right now, so they're still fairly new and not completely broken in, I wouldn't say. But so yesterday I compared the stiffness of boots, and so I said Moxies are described as floppy and like a sock. The Golden Horse has pretty good amount of padding. This is still suede, but it's pretty stiff. Like, you're gonna still have a little more motion than, say, the Golden Horse and some artistic boots, but this actually has a pretty good stiffness. Like I said, I haven't broken these in very much, and I think even my older ones were not completely broken in. But they might stay around the stiffness, so they're not going to get too much softer. They're definitely not going to get as soft as Moxies unless you really beat the crap out of them. But these are a good stiff boot. The sizing is also a little different. Anyway, my modifications of literally accessorizing. I really like bats. I got this little bat guy. There is a problem similar to the Moxie that the tongue tends to shift while you're skating. I cut a slice into just the suede. There is, the lining is just like this felt material, so it didn't cut through the lining. I just cut through the suede and tried that. That didn't completely work. It helped a little bit, so the tongue didn't shift as much while I was skating. So I added this hook. I've seen a double hook method. I didn't really like that. So I just did this, and when I cross it under this thing, it helped a little bit. One boot was completely fine the other day when I skated, because I literally only used this hook once since I've put it in. And one boot, like this boot shifted, so I was like, it was better than it was, because I'd skate and this would be completely plopped around like that. There are lacy methods that are supposed to help with this. I do a crossover over the hook and down. I mean, you can see this in Moxie videos, and a lot of people use this method. It's good to save your hooks and also help lock that tongue in, but it doesn't always work. But it's a lot better than just doing it up like that. Yeah. So also I added these. I permanently glued these on. These were made by a company that we no longer support in the roller skating community, but they happen to be leftover. I think Bont also makes these boot protectors, or I forgot what the name was. It was really cool. But I skate. I don't fall a lot. Knock on wood, I don't fall a lot, but that doesn't mean that my boots aren't going to get messed up, because as you see, I crossed a street one time and I dragged my toe because I hit a crack in the middle of a crosswalk and started going down, and I ended up dragging my toe. So I am not infallible, and like I said, last year I really took a wipeout, and that was in my Moxie skates, so I have since sold those, not because I fell, but because it wasn't a fan of my setup at the time. Also, some other things that I did, I painted, this is called the backstay of the boot. I use an epoxy with, the epoxy similar to Tufto, and I mixed it with a pigment that I got off of Amazon. So this is like a pearly green. You can see it's not perfect because it got kind of some marbling in there. I should have been more artistic about it. But this was suggested to me by another skater on Facebook. This epoxy, clear epoxy, it's like $5 off of Amazon. You just mix it, and I kind of painted it on. You just have to watch that it doesn't drip, and it takes hits pretty well. I put it on the back stay because, you know, when I'm putting skates on or I put it down, I don't want this to get all mess up the suede. I mean, it's inevitable that this is gonna get messed up. But like I said, these are my vanity skates, so I'm just like, look how pretty they are. But they're functional too, so it's not just that. The other thing I suddenly thought of while I was skating, I don't like to carry a bag or anything, and I'm lucky if my my athletic pants have like a pocket built in, so I don't carry any tools. And I lost a toe stop the first time I started skating these, and I wasn't used to having this bolt. I usually have the Allen wrench tightening toe stops, so I ended up, I still don't have a toe stop tool, but I added this little piece of Velcro is holding an axle nut tool. I haven't lost axle nuts, but you never know. So the theory is this, I was looking at the boots and they have this little empty area. I'm like, what if I made like a storage area of some sort? And I was trying to come up with like this permanent idea, and my engineer husband was supposed to help me. He's like, why don't you just use a cable tie? And I was like, that's cheesy. And he's like, but there's like a hole. There's like this hole inside the plate from where the kingpin goes in. And I have a Moxie tool, and it kind of like seats itself perfectly. If you could see that little hole in there, it sits perfectly in there. So I'm like, I don't look like a complete doofus, but this is, like I said, this is for functionality's sake and for, you know, not dying or getting stuck on the trail with some weird issue. But you never know what's going to happen on the trail. Last year, I fell because my lace came untied, which I never want to use spark laces ever again because of that. So I double knot, but even if I've double knotted, I've had them come off the hooks, but I haven't tripped over those before. But last year it literally just came untied. Anyway, moving on. These have, I just got Bagel. Okay, so a little backstory. Instead of saying beagle like a normal human, I call dogs bagel dogs. So like if you have a hunting dog, the cute little dog that's shiny and goes, meow, I call them bagels. So I have Beagle Bearings. They're the rainbow kind, but they're covered in dirt so you can't see. These roll really well so far. He just started his company this past year, I think, or maybe last year. And part of the money goes to help animal rescues. And I'm in an animal rescue group already, so I totally support this. And they weren't badly priced, and I switched from some bulk made no-name bearings that I thought rolled fine. And I was skating that on the trail, and then I switched to these and had so much less effort. And I really like these so far. Definitely support him, new company. And I'm very happy so far with them. Also, I changed out my axle nuts. I'm a nerd, and like I said, colors are pretty. So one side, no, they're both green. On my derby skates, I changed. They're two different colors. So these are green axle nuts. There's a couple different companies that sell these. I got these off of eBay for way cheaper. I say make them. They don't make them. They just buy them and put their name on it. Anything else cool that I've done to these? I don't know. That might just be it. But here, if anybody wants to, you've probably seen me like share these on Facebook like 5,000 times because I was so happy with how they turned out. And they're not top of the line performance. Everybody's going to be like, oh, it's got a nylon plate. Yes, it has a plastic nylon plate, but Sunlights are freaking tanks, and people skate with them in parks, so they tend to hold up pretty well. And there's a lot of accessories that you can put on these for park skating. Me being a heavy skater would not take these to a park because I would crack them probably. And again, I don't park skate, so until I get brave enough to actually learn these things, I would still probably use an aluminum plate for that. Anyway, that's all I have. Sorry I went on for like 14 minutes, but if you have any questions or want to tell me how dumb I sound, feel free. That's cool. See ya!